Hello everybody, Namaste. Today I'm going to talk about advanced customizing of chart wheels in Sirius 1.3. What I'm going to do is take a scenario, a situation where I want a very special looking wheel. And the situation that I'm using is I want a special wheel, a wheel that looks different from my normal wheels for local space charts. And let me explain what a local space chart is quickly. A local space chart is a chart where the planet positions are projected onto the horizon plane, the celestial horizon. I have a set of 4 videos on astronomy for astrologers, and it explains about it explains what projecting a planet on a horizon plane or other plane, what that is, and other details of the astronomy behind astrology. So if you don't quite understand what I'm saying there, don't worry about it, because in this video all I'm really going to be showing you is how to use some of the advanced features in Sirius to customize chart wheels. But just to give you an idea, in the local space chart, the north, south, east, west directions are the same as in a geographic map. In other words, north is up, south is down, east is right, and west is to the left, just as if you're looking at a map of North America, South America, Europe, Africa, whatever. Those are the directions, and you might say, well, duh, of course those are the directions. But in astronomy, when these charts that are done projected onto the horizon are created, they're not always presented that way, and that's not the usual way it's done in astrology. In astrology, let me click on a chart wheel. This is Sirius 1.3. I'm looking at the birth chart of Madonna, the singer and actress. And in the astrology chart, east is to the left and south is to the top. So it's just arranged in a different direction, with the directions, different from a map. But what we do in local space charts, going back to my notes here, is we orient the chart in the same way as it's a geographic map. Why do we do that? Because we can overlay this local space map right on a map. And I'm going to have a follow-up video where we do that. So this is actually the first step in 2 steps. I'm going to show you how to create a really nice wheel for overlaying on a map. And then I'll make another video after this one where I show how you do that, how you can go to Google Maps, grab that map and put the wheel right on top of it. It's very cool, and then you can see the directions of Venus and Mars and Jupiter, all the sun and moon, etc., from a given point. And this is an idea used by some astrologers. And by the way, you can also relocate the chart and do a local space chart to see directions from your current location. So local space charts are done of both the natal and the relocated chart. So here's where I mentioned in another video I will show that overlay. And just to give a credit, local space charts were developed by astrologer Michael Erlewine. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a local space chart, and then we'll do the customizing. Let's go ahead and create one. I'm going to go ahead and relocate Madonna's chart to New York City. We can do it the local space of her birth chart, but I'm going to do it for her relocated chart. So I'm going to go over here, and it asks me where I want to relocate to. Well, I used Google to find out where Madonna lives. She has, as you might imagine, a few places where she lives, and one of them is New York City. I don't know if she still has that location or not, but we'll use that. At least it was, maybe still has a location where she sometimes lives. So I click on OK, and there's her relocated chart. Let's see, where was she born? In Michigan. Here's her birth chart. In Michigan, has 8 Virgo rising, Mercury just above the ascendant, Moon a little bit below. In her relocated chart for New York, they both moved up into the 12th house. Okay, so that's her relocated chart for New York City. I also have videos on relocation charts and astromaps and all kind of stuff, so you can refer to that if you want to. But anyway, you don't need to go to that to understand what's going on. The main thing I want to do here is just show how I'm going to customize this wheel, and I'm going to select a local space. I'm going to go to Settings, Coordinate System, and here it is, Local Space. And then it has some options for things that you typically want to remove. Most people don't want house cusp lines in a local space chart. You have an option for whether you want to show the positions as zodiac positions. If I uncheck it, it shows me a preview where it's degrees and minutes. And if I go and check it, it shows it as a zodiac sign. There's different opinions about this. Some people would say it's just technically not correct to show a zodiac here because the zodiac doesn't exist along the horizon. On the other hand, it's handy because if I see a planet like Sun at 6 Taurus and another planet at 6 degrees Leo, I know that they're square to each other. So it can be handy to have it this way. Anyway, I'm selecting my local space chart. I'll leave these selections. I click OK, and there it is. Wonderful. I have my local space chart. And again, in the local space chart, east is to the right, north is to the top, west is to the left, south is down, just as it would be on a map. And what we'll do in the next video is we'll take this wheel and we'll put it right over where she lives in New York City, and we'll see what direction she goes to move into Neptune, to move towards Saturn. Some astrologers say if you move towards that planet, you gain the power of that planet. So one thing I want to do is I want to put degree markers around the outside. The degree markers is like a ruler that would show me exactly the direction of the planet. You get the idea? Because it says Pluto's 14 Aries, but these are all packed together, and it had to put Pluto up here so it didn't sit on top of these. But maybe 14 Aries is probably over here. It's 14 degrees from due east is probably about here. I would like to know where 14 Aries is. And all of these. So I want degree markers. I don't want these aspect lines because they're going to just overlay on top of the map and look like a mess. You'll see that when I show in the next video. So going back to my slide here, this is a summary of what I want. I want degree markers around the outside. I don't want the aspect lines. I don't want any additional tables. Probably want to get rid of the company name. It would also be nice to have a little cross, like a little X, in the center of the wheel. Because looking at the wheel, if I had a little cross here, when I overlay this wheel on the map, I could put that cross right on top of the house or apartment or whatever location I want. And that would help me, because otherwise I don't really know exactly where that center is. I can kind of guess, but it would be nice to have that. And so we're going to do all that. We're going to put the degree markers in there. So let's go ahead and do it. And also, going back to my notes here, we don't want to disturb the existing chart wheel. So we're going to create our own chart wheel without disturbing any of the chart wheels that come with Sirius. And by the way, there's another video, it's 41 or 42 minutes long, on customizing chart wheels. So that's a really excellent video as well. Just showing a few specific advanced features here. And if you've watched that video, this will give you more experience seeing how you actually work with these software tools. And by the way, to find those videos, here's my page on YouTube, and it's nicely organized. You've probably been here before. And here's the introduction and user interface. Here's an introduction. How to customize chart wheels. So there it is, 42 minutes long. Anyway, so you know, if you haven't watched that and you want to learn about the customizing of chart wheels, you may enjoy that video as well. Okay, now let's start customizing the wheel. Let's make this really, really nice for overlaying on a map. How am I going to do it? Well, as usual, I'm going to right-click, and I've got standard, special, my wheels. My wheels is where I can create my own wheels, and I can pick, I've got, up to 14 my wheels, wheels with my own kind of layout. And I'm going to select, well, I can select any of these, second, third, just for fun. I'll go ahead and select whatever, it doesn't matter. The fifth one. Okay, and there it is. Well, this wheel doesn't look anything like what I want. I like that big, simple wheel that I was looking at before. So how do I make this my fifth wheel? How do I give it a name and start customizing it? Well, I get a model wheel and I name it. Let's get the model wheel first. And it's this very big, simple 2, I already know, is this nice, big, simple one. You can kind of tell from the names. Is pretty close to what we want. I mean, it's fairly simple. I don't want the aspect lines. This is what we were looking at before. I'll click OK. Are you sure? Yep. Thank you. OK. Now I've done it. That's it. Now my fifth wheel looks like that. Now I'll name it, and I'll call it local space wheel. So I know when I come into this in the future, and I don't remember where I put it, it'll say local space wheel. There we go. We've got it. Now, let's customize it. And notice we've got all these variations. We've got an equally spaced, an unequally spaced. Well, since I removed house cusps, you can't really see much difference. There's a square wheel version of it. So let's go over here to the unequally spaced. It doesn't matter too much. And this will be our wheel. So when I want this wheel, I'll go to local space, unequally, and then unequally spaced, and I'll get my customized wheel. Okay, let's customize it. Click on the Customize button. As usual in Sirius, you look for something that says Customize or some similar word, and we start customizing. And over here, I see I've got my planets and whether there are aspect lines to them. Here's Chiron, which I can remove Chiron if I don't want it. I can click on asteroids and so on to add all kinds of different asteroids, or the 4 majors and so on. But anyway, let's leave Chiron, I guess. But I'll click on this checkbox, and now there are no aspect lines to it. When I check it, I'll check it again. There are aspect lines. When I uncheck it, they're gone. So, as you know, if you've watched the other video or you're familiar with Sirius, it tends to be interactive. You don't have to guess what's going on. As you do things, you see it. I'm removing the aspect lines to the node. And here are my planets, Sun through Pluto. You can remove some of those if you like, and I'll click there. And I have no aspect lines. Wonderful. Job done. I've accomplished one of my things. Now, I've got this ring here. I can remove that if I want. That doesn't particularly bother me. But what does bother me is I want my ruler, my degree markers around the outside, so I know where 14 Aries is, so I can visualize these lines very exactly. How do I do that? Well, that's a feature of the wheel, and Page Designer is where you go to for most of those kinds of things. And the Page Designer, which I show in the other video, allows you to move your cursor around. It highlights the different parts of the wheel. The highlight is actually these red little squares. It's called handles. So I've got my handles. Oh, by the way, this went off the area. Sirius doesn't know I'm capturing a part of my screen from the video. I'm not showing my entire video screen. I'm capturing part of it. Anyway, drag that over so you guys can see it. And then there's this big red and yellow, yellow box with red text. It says right-click to customize or delete. So I'll right-click to customize. And I see something called degree markers. I've got colors, 5 items in the wheel. Those 5 items are the planet, degree, sign, minutes, and if it's retrograde. And then, other things, houses and house cusps. Those have been removed anyway because when we selected a local space. House numbers, all these different things. What the size of the wheel is, what the center of the wheel is. Here's degree markers. So let's try that. Print degree markers around wheel sounds good. Let me click done and see if it does. It appears. There it is. So now I've got my degree markers, and I can see what's going on. Is here 0, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, and every 5 degrees is marked. So when it tells me that Pluto is 14 Aries 28, I can go 5, 10, right there. So Pluto is actually in this direction. I've got my marker, slightly bigger marker for 15. It'll look a little clearer when we're looking at the actual wheel. This is a little bit reduced, and also you're looking at the very reduced version of the video. But in the actual wheel you're working with, it's very visible. So we now know where these things are. I can also add planet markers. I don't know if I want them. I probably don't, but I'll show you that. If I add planet markers, then it draws a line from the planet to the edge, and that can be nice if I bring this in, which I can do, but I'm not going to show you all that now. I'm just going to remove those planet markers. I don't think I want that. I'll just click done, and they're gone. It was little thin lines. I don't know if you even noticed them, but a little thin line from the planet to the actual marker to help you trace it. But in my case, I'm going to say I know what 14 Aries is, 5, 10, 14. I'll know that Pluto is actually where the moon is, and Sirius put it up here just so it didn't have to overlay everything. You know, you can't put everything on top of each other. You wouldn't be able to read it. And by the way, this wheel could be a little bigger. I might want to make it bigger. I can click over here to make it bigger. Boink. Boink. And one more time. Oh, another time. Alright, so now it's taking up almost the entire space. May as well make it a little bigger. And that's done. Okay, now, what else is on my list of things to do? I'm starting to get my wheel the way I want it, to put it on the map. Let me go back to my notes. Okay, I've got my degree markers. Check, done. No aspect lines, no additional tables. Well, there weren't any tables anyway, like, you know, some of the things have tables of declination or whatever. So, an aspect grid, don't have any anyway. Remove the company name, cross in the center of the wheel, and then I'm done. Okay, let's go back to Sirius. Remove company name, and cross in the center. Well, the cross, how do I know where the center is? What I can do in Sirius is I can draw two lines. I can draw a vertical line and a horizontal line, but how do I know where the center is? I don't want to eyeball it. That's my problem. I don't want to trust that. Well, this tells me what the center is. It's 3860, which means approximately 3 inches horizontally, and 5,000 vertical. So, for example, just to show you, if I click on this, see my wheel moved up. It's going up, up, up. I wouldn't want to do this because now it's gone off the visible area, and it tells me that that's called 4650. It's just a number that Sirius uses to measure the position. So now I'm going down and I'm back to 5,000. So I might want to remember that, 3860 and 5,000, and then I'll go to the line drawing tool and I'll draw a line at this 3860, 5,000, going through that, and then I've got it. You got the idea? So I've got a line drawing tool, I haven't shown it to you yet, and I'm going to draw it through 3860 and 5,000. I'll draw a vertical one and a horizontal one, and I also want to get rid of the company name. So I'm going to click on Done. Okay, so let's get rid of the company name. That should be easy. Here's my company name. I'm going to right click and see if I can remove it. Well, there's a button here called Remove. Let's see if that works. Do you want to remove the company name? Yes, I didn't click on that by accident. I do want to remove it, and it's gone. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord, it's gone. So this is looking good. I might even want to get rid of some of this stuff. Let me see if I right-click on one of these. What happens? I get a big window. Here's the thing, font style. Let's see what that does. I've got the person's name, which is bigger, other birth data, font style and size. I click on that. It's their 12 point. Let's make it real small. Let's make it 8 point. See how that looks. Arial, 8 point. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Click on Done. Done. Oh, look what it did. It made them really tiny. That might be nice. We can see, and I could make her name smaller also. And actually, I could even remove them. If I right-click, I can just say, remove these guys. If I just uncheck each one of these, they'll be removed. You have the idea. I'll just cancel. You've got the idea. All you have to do is go to the thing you want to look at, right-click, and see what options you have. We'll leave it like that. That's good enough. After we do, in the next video, when we overlay it, if we don't like that, we can come back and remove this stuff. For now, I'm going to leave it because I might want to know But I'll keep it small under the assumption maybe it'll look better small. I can't resist. I'm going to right-click here and go back to that font style, person's name. I'm going to make her name a little smaller. I'll make it all the way down to 10. And click done, done. Okay, so now her name is smaller as well. A little bigger than the rest, but sort of proportionally smaller. Okay, now how do I put my cross in? If I put my cross in, I'm done. I have made my wheel that's perfect for overlaying on a map. It was that easy. So I go over here, and you look around. I can add tables, parallels, essential dignities, fixed stars, mutants, whatever that is, etc. Aspects and all, planet positions, all kinds of things I can add. I can put the company name back. Well, here's additional effects. Words. I could add a word. I could say happy birthday to you or something. Images, boxes. Well, it's not obvious, but boxes can also be lines. I probably should say boxes and lines. We probably should make this a little bigger so we could fit that in there. But anyway, boxes, if I click on add, it gives me this window where I can put up to 10 items. And the item can be a box. And there it is. Put the box in there. It can have double line or single line. Look at that. As I click it, what happens with a very thick double line? Ooh, yeah, very thick double line. Indeed. I'll do a single line. So there it is. And here's the option. I can put a line. And there's my line. So all I have to do is put this at 3630 and 5000, and I have it. But there's another problem I can see, which is it looks like the line is getting cut off when it's under the wheel. See that? It looks to me like here's my handles. It looks like the line probably goes here, but it's invisible. If I move the right edge to the right, I could probably confirm that. Oh yeah, it's definitely getting cut off. Well, there's a feature right here. If an image and the wheel overlap, allow boxes, lines, and images to be visible through the wheel. Now this little checkbox wasn't here. It was only when you select images, back over here where you select images or words, I think it was in images, it had it, and I didn't have the box here, and I realized I should. So if you have Sirius 1.3 and you don't see this checkbox, you can install the update, which updates you to the latest little additions we make to the program, and then you'll have it, or you can go back to images and add it. But if you don't have this box, and you're in here and you have Sirius 1.3, if you don't have the update link, just email us, we'll send you the update link, and you can add that. And now, sometimes it doesn't show you immediately. I might have to click done to see it. Let me click done, and there it is. Now it's visible right through the wheel. Okay, so I'm going to right click on this guy. I'm back to item 1. Remember, I've got 10 items. Item 2 says neither, because I don't have an item 2. There is no item 3. There is no item 4. So you be careful when you do this to notice what item you're on. I'm on item 1, and I'm going to drag it over to the right. I also have a speed thing here. I'm going to move this to the max so it moves quickly. And I'll see what's going on. Well, actually, I already know I want to put this at 3860 and 5000. And if I remember right, I think I put the 5000 here and here. I'm not even sure I've got that right. Well, that looks right. I want 5000 here. And the 3860, well, if I put 3860, whoops, 3860 and 3860, I think I end up with a dot, but just to show you. Whoops, how come I keep typing that wrong? 3860. I actually have a little dot, so I want it to stretch, so I'm going to subtract, say, 50. I've done this before, and I know that 50 gives me a nice little tiny line. So 3860 minus 50 is 3810. 3860 plus 50 is 3910, right? If you're not good with adding, you can do it with pencil and paper. If I add 50 to 3860, I get 3910. So I should have, and I assume I just can't see it because this thing is blocking it, or maybe I need to do more than 50. That should do it, but let me go over to item 2. And for item 2, I think I want 3860, which is, remember 3860 is the center of the wheel. Do you remember that? Here, whoops, I keep typing that wrong, 3860. And here I want 5,000 minus 50. Or, this may sound complicated, but well, I keep doing that. 4950. And here I'll put 5050. I'll explain this in a second. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it right at the center, 3860 and 5,000, but slightly different for the 5,000, so there's some length to it. So I'm putting it at 3860 and then a length of 100, which looks like it may not be big enough. And let's see if that works. Let me click Done. If this works, okay, I've got my horizontal line. Boy, it's really small. Maybe I'll make it a little bigger. And I'll go to, I don't want to go to that. I don't want to right click. I want to go to my boxes. And my item 1, I see, my item 2 still says neither. I have to select line. Scroll this over and see if I can see it. So I've got line selected for item 2, line selected for item 1. Sometimes you have to just play with it and see what happens. There it is! My little tiny cross! It's really tiny. We can make it bigger if we want. But I did it. Now let me go over that to explain what I did. I'm going to click on Add. You drag this over so you can see the little cross. And let me explain. It's on item 3 because I clicked on Add. If I go to item 1, what I did is I drew a line that's at 5,000 in the vertical direction and extends from 3810 to 3910. You got the idea? So you just, if you get dyslexic or crazy doing this, all you have to know is that you take the center of the wheel, which we found when we right-clicked on the wheel. Well, let me show you that again, just real quick. Just real quick, I'm going to right-click on the wheel. Remember that? Here's the size, 3860, 5,000. So if you want to just do this mechanically and not think about it, the center of the wheel is 3860, horizontal position, 5,000 vertical position. I'm going to cancel. I go to my boxes. I go to item one, and I've got it at 5,000 vertical and a length of 100, from 50 before the 3860 to 50 after, and that gives me my horizontal line. If I want it bigger, I could go from, say, 3860 minus 100. Let's make it bigger. 3760. And 100 more than 3860 is 3960. I think there's a delay when I type, and I keep getting that backwards. So why is that so big? 3760 to 3960 should be correct. Well, I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to change this from 4950 to 4900 and 5100. All I'm doing is I'm making my X bigger. And let me click on Done. Well, the preview wasn't right, but now this looks right. So there it is, right in the center. Right in the center. Let me double check my values. I'll go back to the boxes. And I've got 100 less than 3860 is 3760, 100 more is 3960, and the 5,000. This one is at 3836, 3860, 3860, 100 less than 5,000, 100 more than 5,000. And I've got a cross. Looks like my horizontal is slightly bigger, and I could, I could adjust that, but that's, it's good enough. I've got my cross in the middle. So there it is. If I wanted to make the horizontal shorter, I would just, change those numbers for the horizontal line. And, if you want to be super fanatic about it. But we're done. We did it all, my friends. I'm going to click on OK, and OK, save, and OK, and I now have my special wheel for overlaying on a map. And in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wheel, take a Google map, and overlay this, and you will see the Google map, you might say, bleeding through the chart wheel. And then I will put this cross right on Madonna's house in New York City. Put it right on her house, and then I will know that Pluto, it's not right up here, it's at 14 degrees. I'll have it very precise, 5, 10, 14 and a half degrees, right there. I'll know that that's the direction of Pluto. And Moon is just over 3 degrees, 1, 2, 3, it's right there. And I'll be able to see very precisely the directions of these planets. So in the next video, I will show that. This is an idea presented by another astrologer, Steve Cozy, wrote a book about this. I think it was back in the 70s, probably the 80s or so, where he talked about doing this. And now, some 30 years later, or however much later it is, we now have tools we couldn't even imagine. We have Google Maps, we have astrology software, and we can actually overlay this stuff very precisely and relatively easy compared to all the work you had to go back through a few decades ago. By the way, last thing before I end, notice where her Mercury is. Is that mind-boggling or what? It's 0 Aries, 1 minute. It's exactly, for all intents and purposes, exactly 0 Aries. What does that mean? Well, in a local space chart, 0 Aries really means due east, perfectly east. So in getting a house in New York City, what Madonna did, she was born in Bay City, Michigan, she moved such that her Mercury would be exactly east, and the Sun almost exactly east, and Moon just a little bit. And so Michael Erlewine, who developed these ideas, I was talking to him recently about it, and he said, one of the things in local space is if a planet is due east or west or north-south, that's highlighted, and there you see it. So this is a good communication spot for her. That would be the idea. But the other idea is if we overlay this map, since this is the local space chart of her relocated chart, we'll overlay this right on her place she lives in New York City. And the idea is that if she goes in the direction of Venus, is where attraction to beauty or romance and love will be found. So suppose you're going to go on a romantic date to a restaurant, you might want to pick a restaurant that's in the direction of Venus, not one that's in the direction of Saturn. Okay? I mean, so, or go in the direction of Uranus for some real excitement and surprises, maybe surprises you don't want. But you get the idea. You know, maybe I'm oversimplifying, but you're getting the idea that according to local space, you move in that direction, and with this new technology of Google Maps and all, you know, the whole World Wide Web and everything else, and with software like this, we can do it. But my main goal in this video, to summarize, was to show you how you can use the Page Designer to create your own wheel style that has exactly the way you want. So let's just pull up another chart, and then I'll end this video. I'll go to File, Add. I like to use the hotkeys, Alt F, Add, and let's just take another actor, Robert Redford. So there he is. I do Alt G, Get, Alt O. I like to use those hotkeys very fast rather than the mouse. And there it is. Now let's say I want to get his local space chart. I'd go to Settings, Other Settings. Oh, no. Thinking about too many things. Settings, Coordinate System, Local Space. Click OK. And now I've got his local space chart. Fine. But it's not the one I want. So I can right-click, go to My Wheel, go to Local Space, and go to the unequally spaced. And there it is. I've got it. So you got it? I've created this wheel as a local space wheel, and I did it under the unequally spaced. Click OK. And now I have Robert Redford's local space chart in the format I want, and I could take Google Maps, which I'll show in the next video, overlay this right on top of it, and see what direction he has to go into to go towards the sun. So, you know, whether this theory works or not of local space charts, as with many things in astrology, Some astrologers are huge believers, convinced of it. Others haven't tried it. Others have tried it and it hasn't worked. But at least you know how to do it, and what we've learned in this video is some of the cool customizing features in the Sirius software. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm talking very fast, but the ideas are simple. So I will now make the next video, which will be a lot of fun. Okay, take care. Namaste.